The man who made history as the first black on the nation's high court stepped from behind the bench today to talk to reporters about his retirement. Thurgood Marshall, at age 82, is stepping down from the position he has held for 24 years, championing individual rights, abolition of the death penalty, and speaking out as a staunch defender of civil rights. But in the end, it was his health that brings his Supreme Court career to an end.
Well, I looked at the facts and the law and put them together and came out with an opinion, and then went to work on the next one.
Marshall, would you share with us some of the medical facts?
Some of the what?
The medical facts. What's wrong with you, sir?
What's wrong with me? I'm old. I'm getting old and coming apart.
And does he think the Equal Rights Amendment for women will be passed? Here's what he said.
If I don't discuss Negroes, why should I discuss women? Excuse me, I didn't
And are blacks better off today than they were when Marshall first became a justice?
That is a question that has no relationship whatsoever. So are the white people better off since I sat on the court.
He also had a strong reaction to the headlines in the New York Times that said he was retiring because he was frustrated and angry as a liberal with the court leaning so far to the right. He said, and I quote, "That is a double-barreled lie." Well, many consider abortion to be the #1 issue facing the Supreme Court. With the court now leaning to the conservative side, some right-to-life advocates believe it's just a matter of time before Roe versus Wade is overturned.
I certainly hope that this will secure a change in the court so that when, for instance, the Louisiana law, one of the other laws, reaches the Supreme Court, that there will be a review of Roe versus Wade and a change in what they said.
I would be very, very surprised if Roe v. Wade were actually overturned. I think a strong concerted effort on the part of women in this country to make certain that it's not overturned is going to be required.
Paula Breiber of the National Organization of Women says that a woman's right to choose an abortion without governmental interference has been in danger since President Bush's last Supreme Court nominee, David Souter, took over.
Will MacDill Air Force Base be saved? We should find out sometime today. The Base Closure Commission is expected to vote today on whether or not to close MacDill. All indications are that the vote will be in favor of MacDill. The chairman of the commission has said that closing the base would not meet closure guidelines set up by the president. There has also been pressure from the Pentagon and General Colin Powell to keep MacDill open, and that may be too much pressure for the commission to ignore.
My sense is right now, unless someone has a very persuasive argument, another commissioner, it's only going to be, well, not only commissioners discussing from now on, but a lot of that is going to be an exchange among the commissioners. My sense is that a total closure is difficult for compelling reasons.
The commission is also scheduled to vote this weekend on whether to close the airstrip at McDill. Well, Congressman Bill Young has told News Center 10 he thinks McDill will stay open.
This afternoon, an eyewitness to a small plane crash tells a very compelling rescue tale. Just before 9 last night, the plane was taking off from a small North Fort Myers airstrip with 5 people on board. It plunged into a crowded mobile home park, sparking a fire and damaging several homes. Miraculously, no one on the ground was hurt. On board, the pilot and his girlfriend were seriously injured. The pilot's daughter and 2 other friends were only slightly hurt.
The plane was on fire, my house was on fire. We had 2 hoses we were sprinkling, and I dragged the guy that was a pilot. I thought he was a pilot. He's sitting on the left-hand side. He was hurt pretty bad, full of blood, and there's a woman in there, a little girl, I guess, about 14, 15, took her out. There's a girl in the back seat. She was screaming, hollering, a little hysterical. Got her out.
The pilot and his girlfriend are still hospitalized. The 3 girls were treated and released.
In Yugoslavia, the National Army just a short time ago declared a ceasefire on one of the 2 republics trying to break away. Yugoslavia's National Army has agreed to stop attacking Slovenia. There's no such report for the other republic of Croatia. Before the ceasefire, there were reports of combat planes bombing a column of cars about 60 miles from the capital. Several people were reported killed. Federal Air Force planes also bombed Slovenia's main airport today. In response, European leaders froze aid to Yugoslavia. Today's Los Angeles Times quotes Bush administration officials as reacting violently to reports of Iraq's nuclear ability. The paper says the Pentagon is preparing plans for military strikes on possible nuclear sites in Iraq. Secretary of State James Baker calls the matter very serious.
America is losing its British ally, Margaret Thatcher, from elected office. Thatcher announced today that she will not seek re-election to the British House of Commons. This effectively ends her 32-year career in office. Now, earlier this year, Thatcher lost her office of the Prime Minister after a revolt within her Conservative Party. Thatcher was the longest-serving Prime Minister this century. Still to come, no prank about it, parts of the Skyway Bridge are going to be closed just for a little while tomorrow.
Okay, details in a moment. And Jim Farrell tells us stormy weather will give us a soggy weekend. We'll be right back.